You're watching Rain Knight Gaming.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Rain Knight Gaming. I'm Rain Knight, and it's time for a little bit of 10-minute testing. What's 10-minute testing? Well, it's where I find cool decks, bring them to you guys. We take a look at them, we watch some replays, talk about them, and we spend about 10 minutes doing it. So today we are going over CoachSK's build for the Cyclops Gyan deck. Last week you guys saw my build. It's rough. I got a lot of really cool information from you guys, and I'm trying to implement that in my build. Hopefully we'll circle back around to that pretty soon. But I felt like I should take this one for a spin. He said he's going to put out his video last week, and I should just do something this week on it, just to kind of see my overall reactions to it. Because, you know, from his perspective, he created it. He knows how it works. I'm a noob. I've played it a bunch now, trying to figure it out and come up with some thoughts, and we'll go over those as we watch some gameplay. But first, wanted to go over, we have another contest, and it's this. Before I forget, we are doing another giveaway this month, and it's the Iron Blood deck. Iron Bloom. Iron Blood been a cool word. But not this one. This is empty, obviously. It's a set. It's a prop. What we are going to give you guys is a playset of every card that comes in that structure deck. I've got a brick together for you guys, and the winner I will say up on here in a week or so. To enter, all you got to do is like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Any comment will do. I don't mind. And when I announce the winner, you will have to go over to our Discord, because that's where I will get your details to actually send you your prize. We're going to do a month giveaway every month, so if you don't win this one, you could win the next one. Who knows what it'll be? I don't even know what it'll be, because I haven't decided what it is yet. So let's jump into this deck profile. It's pretty cool. It's a different look than a lot of decks. So looking at it here, you would first look at this and be like, oh, this is an aggro deck. It's super low to the ground. It's not really an aggro deck. I think it's more of a mid-range deck, even though it does finish games fairly quickly. It's not trying to just zerg you right at the beginning, because you play a lot of cards in this build that work together with several other cards, if that makes kind of any sense. But we'll kind of go into it here in a minute. Let's take a look at card by card, see what we're playing with. So Zaku II, I mean, it's probably the best 2-1 in the game, so, you know, you gotta play it, plus Gyan. Then the new Zaku II FZ. This one I've been going back and forth on. At first, I thought it was terrible. Just an awful card, because I couldn't get it to work. But then I did listen to Coach a little bit, and I also kind of, you know, did a little bit of thinking as I was playing games, and I realized this is not an early game card. Yes, it's a 2-2-1-2, but you don't play it early, because you have to play it when you can get its effect. When you get its effect, it becomes very powerful, and even more so with the pilot that links for it, and we'll circle back around to it once we get to that pilot. So then we get to our Hy-Gogg, however you say it. I love the arts for these guys, the next two cards. These are just so cool. I don't know why I love these guys so much. But this is another one. It's another token generation. This is a very heavy token generation deck, because as it's designed, I believe, to start off, you're building your board, you're not being aggressive, you're just trying to build your board, and then when you get your board, all your stuff works together, and you just zerg your opponent down really fast over like 2 turns. So it's, you know, it's one of those decks that builds, and explodes. Kind of do that sounding. But this guy's really cool. He's got a good stat line, and he links generally with Cyclops stuff, and will give you a token. Very, very cool. Probably one of my favorite arts in the new set, just because I just think this looks super cool. Very awesome stuff. And this is just your 3-2, 3-3 vanilla that links. So, you know, it's a good card. It's a good solid card, and you need it as another name for the deck. Then we've got old school Gelgoog, 4-2, 4-3, just amazing stats. This with a 2-1 pilot is going to get over any base, which is always really good. He's also super, super cheap. 4-2 is such a good stat line. It lets you just spam these out if you have them, or spam them out and put out pilots as well. So super, super good. The Gyan is super neat to see in this one, because you also play the pilot for it, and it's an old card, but one you didn't really see very much, but it really does help this strategy out a lot. This is going to help you with some of those early game blockers that may pop back up after level 4, because it's just going to blow them up. So really, really awesome there. Plus, you're going to get Breach from your pilot, and another 4/3, which is going to allow you to get over big bases. 4/3, 4/3, Kämpfer? Kämpfer? I can't say this one. Awesome looking card. Awesome card. This thing is really cool because it actually has a burst. It's the first unit with a burst, I believe. That's going to let you get a pilot back, which is very helpful for this deck. And we play a bunch of pilots, so there's a really good chance you're going to get the effect. So when paired, all of your Cyclops Team units, all your Cyclops Team units may choose an active unit and do that's 5 AP and less and target it. So you're going to build up that board of tokens and other little things, and then all of a sudden they can attack standing targets. All of a sudden you put things on them that give them breach, and it's just one of those things that is just disgusting when it all comes together. And that's kind of the trick of the deck, is getting to a point where all the stuff, comes together and you get to have that big kerplop, Another card that I thought was terrible when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is bad. But then after playing with the deck a little bit and actually getting into it, I was like, oh, this is a really good card, especially with the unit for it. Simply because your 1/2 links with this guy. And then for all of these Cyclops units, pilots and commands, he gets an extra AP. You play that late game, your 1/2 can turn into a 5/2 or something like that. And a 5/2 that doesn't take battle damage. And that's crazy. And if you put it out at the right time, it could be a 5/2 that doesn't take battle damage that will get breach from one of your other guys. How crazy is that? And it's just kind of nutty how all this stuff kind of works together. It's very, very cool. And then, of course, we've got the Mikhail, one of the weird names I can actually say for some reason. This guy just gives your Xeon units breach. Guess what? We play all Xeon. So that's going to help you out, clearing things. When you're attacking those standing units, it's going to let you breach over those standing units, so you get that extra damage. And you're clearing units, clearing bases, clearing shields. It's just really cool how everything works together. Our new Thirsty pilot, 4/1/2/1. This one's really cool because when he attacks, you get to give one of your units breach. So this is really nice because you can either give it to himself, or he can give it to a unit that maybe doesn't have a pilot on it. Maybe you have one with a Mikhail, one with nothing, and one with him. Go ahead and give that one that, and then you're getting some extra breach in, or you just give it to himself, whatever. So really awesome, really, really good new pilot, really liking it. We get into the command pilots. This is where it gets a little interesting. We play a bunch of pilots, a bunch of command pilots. He's a 3/1/0/10 that you probably don't usually put with a unit. This is mostly, he's a 3/1/2/1 token generator. And he's gonna let you generate tokens. Also, when you generate that token with him, he goes in the graveyard, and then you get effects because you have more things in the graveyard with the Cyclops team in it. So it's kind of how that, again, keeps on working together. There's just this synergy in this deck is crazy. So very, very cool. And that's why you don't play other things with it. I mean, you could play other colors with it that might help certain things. It probably depends on your play style, but whatever. Over the River and Through the Woods. Interesting deck name, I guess. He's a 4/1/1/1. So his command is choose one enemy unit that is level 5 or lower, deal damage to it equal to the number of friendly unit tokens. This may be the biggest potential pop single target non-combat damage in the game, because technically you could pop for 6. I mean, you won't. I mean, you're not going to get 6 tokens on board, but you could. I mean, this game could easily pop for 4. And I've popped for 4. That's the highest I've popped with it. But I mean, you could do 6, you could do 5. A normal 3 is something that's going to happen because, again, you're generating a lot of tokens with this. And at least he's a 1/1, so if you do need to use him as a pilot, he's not terrible. For our base, we just play the Falmel. And why? Oh, it generates tokens, because it makes all the things work more. So that's kind of cool. Plus, it's a little cheaper, earlier cost than some other bases that generate tokens, blue. So yeah, you would generate more with that one, but this one will get them to you earlier and cheaper, so that's nice. And then we're back to the beginning. Okay, let's jump into some games, and we'll kind of go over my thoughts while we're going over it. See you guys in there. We're going to take a look at 2 games that I played. I played a bunch of games because I actually really wanted to try to understand the deck a little better to give it a good shot, because going into it, I did feel that this deck had a really high learning curve. Not because of like, it's got a ton of high priced cards and you've got to do all this kind of stuff, but it's a lot of the cards work together with the other cards in different ways than we've seen in this game before. It's a lot of things, like so many things in the graveyard, you get these kind of effects. You have to really, build out your graveyard to get things that you need to get done. And that's why I said this deck looks like an early game deck, but really I think it's more of a mid-range deck, simply because you need that setup period, and you're not going to be just going in to try to kill your opponent. And that's one weakness I found, is you can get run over. But I mean, honestly, that's every deck's weakness pretty much, just because, if an aggro deck wants to run you over, they usually can, if they get a good setup. I kind of felt like I was going 50-50 with heavy aggro decks. 1 Year War did pretty decent against it, as long as I had a fairly good start. One thing you're seeing here is a big problem I bricked on pilots a lot. It has a ton of pilots, and I probably wasn't using them completely correctly, but I just kind of felt like I was always bricking on a lot of pilots, especially in those games that I was losing. It's just like you ran out of units, because you don't play a ton of units, you play a ton of pilots. But one deck, and here's a good example that you just kind of eat up, and that's blue-white blocker. It was probably my easiest matches. It was because they would try to set up, I would just take them down. Blocking didn't matter, because usually I would just attack them while they were standing. If they blocked, I was breaching. So it was one of those things where they could never really get their feet underneath them, because this deck just had counters for it as you went. And I think it is definitely strongest against blue-white blocker. As long as you can continue and you don't let them get set up, you're usually pretty golden. Your indestructible dude right there eats him up hard, because he's just able to trade in with those blockers, and there's not much they can do. One deck I basically never won against was any kind of major ping deck. The red-blue ping was probably my worst matchup. Blurple was kind of like 60-40, probably on their end, but hardcore red ping was a problem, and maybe I'll ask Coach how he plays against those, but that was probably my hardest matchup. But overall, really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to practice with it some more. It's one of those ones where you really have to practice it a lot to actually get what you need out of the deck. I've got a couple changes to it I'm thinking about. I might bounce off of him, see kind of what he thinks. But my overall opinion on the deck, should you play this deck? I would say yes. This is definitely a mix-up from what the game has been doing, so it's really going to be a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, just because it's so different, and I feel like you can branch off of this original build pretty good to kind of go into different kind of play styles if you wanted to. But overall, the Cyclops deck and everything like that is going into it, I am super hopeful for. I think it's going to be a really, really cool deck, and this is definitely a really awesome, good jumping off point for you. So I'll put the list in the comments down below, or descriptions down below. So if you guys want to try it out, let me know how it goes. I'm always interested in hearing how you guys do. But hey, you guys know what I would say. You stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.